Hello and welcome, Pisces, to the October Zodiac series. So remember, this is collective and general. Receive what aligns, release what doesn't. Never give your power away to a reading or an outcome. Remember, you're a conscious creator and you shift and change your timeline with your free will choice. So Pisces, before I get into your messages for October, I have to share a message from Spirit as I was going through my cards, to pull out which decks I wanted to use for this series. This popped out. This is the candle lid, and it's the Be Fearless candle. And it speaks about the importance of pollinators in our experience. So I felt called to share a little bit about that and just encourage you today, or maybe this week, to just take a look into some of the significance of the bee, of the pollinators. Look at maybe how we are, unintentionally harming pollinators within our communities and how we can help them. And just discover maybe a little bit more about the magic around bees and around pollinators. They're incredibly inspirational and uplifting creatures, right? And very important. And it's important that we learn to live in harmony with nature, right? And be good humans on this earth. So that's what I have for a little message there, Pisces. Now, getting into your energy for October is really nice. We have pumpkin spice and apple cider. Nothing is more nostalgic than the joy of belonging in your presence. So maybe look into the Aries message, because the Aries had this card as well from the Seasons of the Witch. Now, this is about the cozy comfort of enjoying the season and enjoying it in your own company, taking space and time for just your peace, just to enjoy your peace, enjoy your thoughts, enjoy just unwinding and decompressing from your day, and just to create those little pockets of peace within your experience. To light a candle, to bring in the elements, she's got that candle lit and that nice cup of, it could be apple cider, it could be pumpkin spice, right? Like pumpkin spice tea or pumpkin spice coffee. And, it's like stormy outside and a little windy, and just really embracing the cozy. She's got that really nice cardigan as well. So like soft materials and getting like nice and cozy. And it's like good, inspiring weather for your creativity. Whether you're like you like to write or just create or just manifest or connect in, with your guides, with your higher self, just enjoy the cozy and the pleasure of the cozy. Like that's what it feels like. Maybe even, curl up with a nice book. But it's a beautiful energy of just kind of embracing the change in the weather, getting to experience the contrast from like, the cooler, breezy weather outside and being nice and cozy inside with like candles lit, and maybe doing some journaling as well. Just allowing yourself to kind of be inspired naturally and move slowly and move in ways that feel good to you. There's like definitely a sense of feeling safe, feeling protected, feeling comfortable. Okay, so that's a beautiful energy. When we get into the soul truth for you, Pisces, we have what can I do to make a difference? What keeps you up at night? What makes you cringe when you think about it? Such that every ounce of you screams no more. Where can you create purpose out of your pain? Today's soul action. Make a difference in someone's life today, big or small, because all of it makes a difference. So this might be what you're reflecting on in that space and time when you're just unwinding, is how you can make a difference, with what's going on. That was a little dramatic, but to be honest, it's like there are things that are definitely bothering you here, Pisces, and you're looking at how you can help, how you can bring forth value. This could be certain things happening within your own community right now, and different ways in which you can, support humanity, support the environment, support nature, and, support animals, right? Or how you can create something that represents how you're feeling and what you're moving through right now in this incredibly chaotic time, right? So there's definitely that sense of you feel like you need to take aligned action, but you're taking time to rest, recharge, and let that inspiration come from you so you can alchemize and create something powerful and wonderful, Pisces. Okay, you're taking those emotions and what you're feeling and you're alchemizing them into artwork, into a message, into hope, into inspiration, into love, for your community, it's yourself as well, right? But it's definitely bringing love to the table, and inspiration and support, and being able to alchemize the wisdom and the experiences and what you're observing and what, you're moving through right now. So, okay, it's a really powerful beginning. When we get into the fortune telling cards, we have official person. So this could be you being seen as like an authority or as an expert in a certain area. This could be you receiving some sort of public recognition or award or reward for the work that you're doing. This could be a raise. This could be, it's something that you're quite proud of. It's an honor that you're receiving with this official person energy. That's what's coming through quite strong. And when I got into like, how can you have more fun? We have the 7 of Pentacles and the Moon. So how can you have more fun? With the 7 of Pentacles, it's about looking at what you have grown, looking at how you have, nurtured the seeds that you've planted, nurtured your finances, created your experience, and deciding if everything, is still in alignment, if you want to keep going in that direction, or there's little changes or pivots you want to make. But the way that you can kind of have fun with it, with this like 7 of Pentacles and the Moon card, is just to like, maybe it is as simple as like a costume party, like going to a costume party and having like a really extravagant costume or something that's really fun, a character that's really fun for you to embody. Maybe for some of you, it's like decorating, right? Or throwing a party or hosting a party. Maybe it's something you've been kind of investing in. Maybe there's going to be like some surprise Halloween party or something coming up here. But it's about a playfulness. It's about fun. It's about kind of embodying different characters and just kind of enjoying yourself here, not taking things so seriously. With the Moon card as well, it's this sense of just kind of accepting some things as they are and playing anyway. This kind of reminds me of, in some respects, like the Moon card might be, with Pisces energy, very connected with intuition, like lunar energies. That's maybe right where you shine and you're feeling really good. So embracing that lunar energy might be really helpful for you. But there's a sense of you, embracing the unknown. And there's the light and the shadow, and you're embracing it. And you're like, I'm going to play. I'm going to have fun. I'm not going to let this, the fear of the unknown, I'm not going to let it hold me back from living my life and my experience and enjoying myself, basically. So that's kind of where you're coming from. There's like a rebellious nature as well that's coming through. There's a joy. It's just very strongly a playful energy that is coming through for you, right? Some of you too, it might just be really fun to spend time with your pets, with your animals. That's another message. Connecting in with your water element, right? But also shining in your skills and talents. There's like a sense of accepting where you're at, but also like just shining in your skills and talents and like not taking things so seriously. So this is more the lighter side of things. Now, when it comes to where you're at on your timeline, Pisces, we have the Hangman. So there's like a shift in perspective. And then we have the 7 of Cups, which is so interesting, It kind of reminds me of Alice with like her shrinking and then growing really tall. It's like you're trying to find the balance in what you are experiencing. The Hangman energy comes through when life kind of has us take time for perspective, which you definitely have with this like pumpkin spice, apple cider energy coming through, right? And belonging, in your own presence, right? It's also loving your energy and loving your space and everything like that. But this can be meditating, resting, recharging, seeing things from a different perspective. Sometimes there's like a challenge or problem that you're sitting with, and you're going to like take that space and time till you receive the solution, right? There's also this call to fantasy with the 7 of Cups. So make sure you take time to ground, of course, enjoy like the fantasy energy, of course. And some of you could be writers, right? Like that's very clearly coming through here. So that fantasy element's really great for you. It's a form of escapism and creativity and alchemy and a way to pour your energy into things too. But the 7 of Cups is a bit about like escaping reality. It can be that you're taking on too much energy to see things clearly. So make sure you're cleansing and clearing your energy, grounding yourself. Okay. It can be also many different opportunities, which can be overwhelming. So take your time in making your decisions, Pisces. Don't be rushed. And this is kind of really a Pisces card, like your head in the clouds, right? Pisces is kind of a dreamy, flowy energy here. So there is this sense of you kind of like, okay, this is the current, this is what's going on. I'm going to ride this current, with style or in the best way that I can. And I'm kind of going with the flow and moving forward. And then you have the Six of Swords. So there is a sense of trust that you are being carried through some challenges, right? Or you're being given those perspectives, or some of you, your dreams are going to be really helpful for you. Moving forward, you might have very vivid dreams, or very, maybe even dreams that help you with like writing a book or a story or creativity or creating characters, or there's definitely an element of fantasy coming through. But the Six of Swords is about moving to calmer waters, right? But you see she's being carried by a bird there. So you do have support. You have support, with spirit as well, but it's like you are flying above the storm. You're flying above the tide. Like you are having a perspective and navigating in a way that feels most aligned for you. And that might have been like the Hangman and the Seven of Cups, that challenge of like, how do I want to navigate the situation? How do I want to navigate my life right now? I have so many different feelings. How can I even know what I feel fully, right? So I think that's where the moon energy kind of helps, because the lunar energy will pull things out of us, but it helps us to clear those things and then have clarity, right? Which is really helpful. But with the Six of Swords, it's peace of mind, because if you see through the waves, there's a person on a boat, and the water's calm, right? So I feel like that's something that you are focused on. And there's a woman in there, she's holding a child. So there's also this sense of like you kind of protecting your inner child as you're moving forward, or protecting something. That child could represent a creation, right? That you're focusing on. You're finding a way to prioritize what is best for you moving forward through everything that is happening right now. But the Six of Swords is also moving forward with wisdom of experiences, right? And again, there's like that sense of, I wouldn't necessarily say going with the flow, but flowing forward and utilizing what is showing up for you for inspiration or motivation moving forward. So that's kind of what I'm sensing here. There's definitely like a pause in the action on your timeline, but then there's that forward movement. And because you take the time to get perspective, you move forward and you navigate forward in a more wise way. So you avoid a lot of drama, you avoid a lot of conflict, you're protecting your peace. Like that's coming through quite strong. The other message coming through for you, Pisces, is we have scrying your intuition. So some of you, again, you have the candles coming forward. You might really like to light candles, or perhaps this is a message of like for creating the space for you to light candles, because that can help you connect with spirit, can help you with transmuting, focusing your energy. There's a lot that you can do, with candles, but there's also the sense of scrying. There's a crystal ball there. So many of you might require a tool that might be helpful for you. Like you can scry in water, you can scry in the leaves of the trees, you can scry with like a crystal ball, or even, there's many different ways that you can do it. But this might be an ability that is really helpful for you in your experience right now to practice, to work with, or even to expand into if you already do this. But you might find if you don't already do this, you kind of have a knack for it. It's something that comes naturally to you, and it brings you visions, brings you support, maybe brings you some peace or validation. Okay, so that might be something that you want to look into here. And in a very wide way, scrying is just basically about your intuition and expanding in your intuitive abilities and trusting in your intuitive abilities. Trusting in the strength of your intuition, trusting in your visions. And that also speaks that one of your main gifts, your intuitive gifts, is clairvoyancy. So it's that clear seeing, right? So it could be your dreams, could be, just what you see within your third eye. It could be, again, using some sort of tool, and maybe that is helpful for you. You can explore different ways and like how to do that in a way that's most aligned for you. But you might find that's really helpful, is scrying is a resource and a tool that's helpful for you to tap in and focus in your intuition. Okay. Now, when we get into the charms, we have the sea turtle. Just keep swimming. Yeah, you're moving forward. There's the water element. It's like, just keep going, just keep swimming, right? And we have the golden heart. So this lets me know you have a heart of gold. You want to do wonderful things in this world for others. You already do that, right? You care. And the other message is I feel like you have a lot of loving, caring people around you that also have this energy, this genuine love and intention and support. Okay. And this is also kind of like divine love and support too here for you. I feel like that's coming through here. And I feel like whatever it is that you're creating is important for you to create. Like it, we have you wanting to make a difference with what can I do to make a difference. It's very clear that you want to. And for some of you, it's what you're creating and the message that it brings, right? The other charm that we have here is there's the sun and the moon, so there's the balance, and then there's the snake kind of wrapping around those hands. So this is very much like the intuitive, like tarot card. This can represent, the sun and moon is the feminine, masculine energies, right? God and goddess energy. And then there's the laurel wreath around that. So there is definitely almost like a high priestess energy that's coming through for you, Pisces, which makes sense. You're a water sign, very intuitive. And that really being an important part for you right now. But some of you, yes, it's like, I feel like there's a shift that some people that have been using tools don't feel called to really rely on those spiritual tools anymore, but just access their own intuitive messages like through their body or through their visions. Whereas others are feeling like it's helpful to pick up some tools just to focus in the energy, right? Like with tarot cards. A lot of readers, myself included, I don't need the tarot cards. The tarot cards are physical representations to focus the energy. I can see them in my third eye. I can see, know, feel things. So that might be something that you're kind of tuning into, right now, Pisces, okay? So there's also the sun and the moon. So there's the duality, there's the balance, right? And finding your balance here and just really kind of being honored in your experience for where you're at with your own spiritual mastery, where you're at with your journey here because of the laurel wreath. And there's little stars as well. So it's like you're really shining in your intuition. It might feel like it's really on point for you, but the snake represents transformation, right? And it represents kind of like that feminine empowerment as well. So some of you, it's like you reach this point on your journey where you released a lot of fear of judgment, fear of your power, fear of success, and you're ready. Like you're ready for this next level, Pisces. You're ready for it. You're ready to be recognized for who you truly are. You're not afraid of it anymore. And you're quite, many of you, it's something that you have mastered here. And that's beautiful. Power's in your hands. The power is definitely in your hands here, Pisces. And then we have this little guy here. So this can be, you might have some days where, again, you're feeling a lot collectively, which is completely natural with what's going on right now. And you might need to sit in it sometimes. You might need to sit in that energy of just feeling icky or feeling your feelings, just letting it out, right? The moon energy sometimes pulls that out of us so we can release it, brings it to the surface, right? Sometimes you might need to do that, right? For a little while until you recognize your power and you recognize how you can make a difference and you take time for self-care to breathe out and do what's important for you, to do to show up for yourself. And then you recognize and realize your power, right? And then you create something incredible and then you're recognized for it with this official person energy. So the other message that is you might have people that are feeling that way, that are feeling very disempowered, and understandably so. But you're going to be kind of that, I can see you almost like smiling in a way of like, you're not afraid to be rebellious. You're not afraid to be the villain in someone's story, right? If it means honoring and being true to yourself and what you're doing here. You're very balanced as well. So there's also this sense of like unconditional love that is coming through and trusting in your intuitive guidance. And those that are feeling really kind of down, I feel like whatever it is that you create or the way that you navigate or the perspectives that you share or the visions that you share can be really helpful for them. Or just even your example of like you focusing in on what is within your control and your own personal power and being able to utilize that and put that out there and knowing that's going to help others, that's going to assist others, and maybe it's going to help them change their perspective, right? So it's kind of figuring out what's best for you here, Pisces, but you do have this rebellious nature. You do have the light and the shadow. You have like the dark goddess energy and also like, the light energy coming together here in a beautiful way. And just there's so much love and support with this part that's coming through where it's like, you are so worthy. You are so loved. You are so pure. in so many ways, right? So there's this sense of like your spiritual power, your spiritual protection is like your unconditional self-love and the way that you are loved on like the higher realms too, where it's like energetically you have this protection and this appreciation, this support, and you will not be tricked or fooled by anyone else saying that who you are, your spiritual power, or anyone else's projected fears on you, basically, right? You moved through a lot of fear. You've embraced it. Arms wide open, embraced it. Moved through it, worked with it, alchemized it, started to create with it, right? Mastered it in some ways. And so you're just, kind of being supported and validated and lifted up here in the work that you've done and who you are and what it took to get where you're at this time. And also there's a message that, yes, I know, and Spirit knows you want to do more, but also that you do already make a difference. Okay. And yes, like you can do more and you can do things in your own way, but just to take that pressure off of yourself, you've done a lot. You're already doing it. I guess that's like, as we can put it, is like, you're already doing it. So take that time to enjoy that pumpkin spice latte or that apple cider, that hot apple cider, Take that time to enjoy the season and being human and getting to almost enjoy those creature comforts as you're doing this work, as you are making a difference. Make sure you're taking that space and time for yourself and look into what's in a pumpkin spice latte. Look into the different elements of what goes in there, the magical properties, because I think that's, I know it's something that's pretty somewhat stereotypical for the season, but at the same time, when you look at what those different elements represent, it makes sense, especially at this time. So I'm going to leave it there, Pisces. I hope this brought you value. Thank you so much for joining me. Take the best care of yourself. Again, if something didn't resonate, let it go. Check out your moon, rising, and Venus sign. Okay, if you feel called to another reading, look at that reading. Like I said, Aries had this too, so there might be some messages in the Aries reading for you, which has already premiered. So you can go ahead and check that out. Take the best care of yourself. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon.